Chris Jericho's prominence in wrestling has never been higher than now, after having successfully become the guiding force for many WWE stars to leave and head to AEW. As the first big-name wrestler to leave WWE and join the company when it was founded, Jericho has risen to new heights. Though that does not mean that the superstar is not controversial. This is Wrestling Up, and here are the wildest things said about Chris Jericho. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Jericho is someone who has been in contact with Vince McMahon for a long time. The first time Vince offered to bring him to WWE from WCW, he invited Jericho over to his house and made him uncomfortable without giving him any details of what was really going on behind the scenes. Later, Jericho would find out that it was a test by McMahon to see if he would talk about the secret meeting, and when he didn't, he found he could trust Jericho. Since then, the two of them have had various confrontations over the years, and Jericho has always stood up to him to make sure Vince took him seriously. Vince and Kofi Kingston had a disagreement aboard the flight in 2010 where Vince told Kofi he was not over with the audience. Jericho encouraged him to fight Vince. Kofi would note, "It's one of my vivid memories in sports because it's the wild world of wrestling. You know what I mean? We were on the way to a press conference. As we were getting there, Vince started trying me a little bit. He's like, 'You want to fight an old man?' I'm like, 'Whoa, what is going on? What's happening?' I got kicked off the plane because I wouldn't fight him. Okay." Jericho did come down and he said I had to go back up there because in this weird world of wrestling, this is how you had to get respect. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go up there and try to fight my boss. We get up there and we start going back and forth. All of a sudden, I got double-legged on the plane. I'm like, oh my god, we're really fighting. This is crazy. But you've got to keep in mind, the aisle in the plane was 3 or 4 feet long. All of a sudden, he started laughing. If I'd have known that you want it, I'm thankful that Jericho told me to go back on there, because who knows, in this weird world of wrestling, if I don't go on there, all of a sudden, he doesn't have what it takes. I don't know if I would have had the career that I would have had. A very different time back then. It was a wild night for sure. Kingston revealed Jericho celebrated the fact that he listened to him and stood up to Vince by trashing Kofi's hotel room. The world of wrestling is a strange one. Sebastian Bach, the vocalist of Skid Row, was someone who has never liked Jericho. The singer accused Jericho of using pre-recorded voice tracks and miming during live concerts. I have an open mind about everyone. If I read on blabbermouth.com that some band says we're the future of rock and roll and we're the next thing after the Rolling Stones, I think this must be incredible. What have I been missing out on? So I checked out one video during which the singer was 100% miming to a tape on stage at the Rock Pile in Toronto. I thought to myself, that's weird. That's not the next Rolling Stones. So I watched another video where he was opening up for Nickelback in an arena, and again, he's miming to a tape. You can go watch it for yourself. And then someone said, here's a clip of him singing live. Legit, bro. And it's him miming to a tape again. It's crazy obvious. It is not my opinion, it's fact. It is not me starting a fight, but don't tell me what singing live is, because I have never used tape. I don't even know how to do that. Jericho denied the allegations. Bach would also insult everything about Jericho, saying pro wrestling sucked and that Jericho wished he was a rock star. Bach is not the most well-loved singer, and Jericho had said kind things about him before, which makes his accusation even weirder. Fans called out Jericho's wife for being present at the Capitol on January 6th. Jericho had previously said he was not political, but then fans found out he had donated thousands of dollars to Donald Trump's campaign. Protesters stormed the US Capitol that day as fans uncovered his wife was there watching apparently. Jericho's wife changed her Instagram profile picture showing her standing with women in Washington, D.C. holding a Trump sign. Fans figured the picture was from January 6th. Jericho was not present in Washington that day, but his wife was attending with a group of women. TBar was defending the retribution online when it had come under criticism for being unimaginative in WWE. Jericho found his tweets hilarious and retweeted one, simply saying, "Huh?" feeding fuel to the fire of the war of words between fans and TBar. However, TBar didn't take long to reply to Jericho. Health economist Andrew Friedson had said that an estimated 250,000 cases of COVID between August 2nd and September 2nd were because of the Sturgis rally. Jericho's band Fozzy had performed there. TBar responded to Jericho with a tweet which simply said, "Huh?" and then posted screenshots of lots of news stories that had covered that rally. Jericho was making waves after he came to WWE given his charisma. As a result, he got an offer to host a new game show called Downfall for ABC. Vince McMahon was unhappy with the fact that Jericho was getting a role. McMahon said that Jericho had not told him he was auditioning and flipped out backstage before he told Jericho he couldn't do it. Jericho was naturally not happy with Vince's ruling and decided he would call the WWE boss. Jericho threatened to go to Connecticut and punch his boss in the face. Vince gave him his address. Eventually, things between them were solved anticlimactically after Vince offered him a new contract. Jericho debuted in WWE in '99 and over the years became one of the most prominent stars. WWE was high on him as he defeated The Rock and Steve Austin in one night. He was 35 when he decided to leave in August of 2005. Fans felt Chris had issues with WWE creative. Jericho's contract was up at the time and he chose not to renew it. In reality, he was burned out at this time from wrestling for 6 years without a break. He also didn't enjoy the fact he was not regularly main eventing. It was a good decision as after that, every time he returned to WWE after a few breaks, he would reinvent himself and recharge his support from fans. Jericho has been married to his wife Jessica since 2000, having 3 children. A few years back, he was on the road with WWE when photos came out that showed him fraternizing with Kelly Kelly. Randy Orton even made an unproven comment saying she had slept with at least 10 guys in WWE. The photos with Jericho showed them having drinks and kissing in public. What happened behind the scenes with Jericho and his wife is unknown. Jericho's original opponent for Mania 25 was supposed to be Mickey Rourke. Rourke was nominated for an Oscar as the star of The Wrestler. Unfortunately, the match did not take place because Rourke's management felt being involved with WWE would hurt the actor's chance to win an Oscar. The two appeared on Larry King. Jericho was in character, but Rourke was unaware. As a result, he was naturally upset with Chris. In fact, Rourke told everyone how much he hated Jericho. On the night before Mania, Rourke appeared with 3 bodyguards that would be there to beat up Chris. Rourke wanted to fight Jericho himself and hurt him, but Jericho went on to have a conversation with the actor and explained how the things that he had said had been in character because they had been on camera, leading to the actor to understand better and putting things behind them. The Triple H of today is very different from the Triple H of old. There are plenty of stories about the old Triple H burying wrestlers and making sure they didn't make it in WWE when they came there. He had issues with plenty of stars. The dislike between Chris Jericho and Triple H was rather well known among the wrestling world. The game was not popular in WWE at the time backstage because he had beaten Booker T in a squash. He didn't put over Ric Flair, and he had also been taking time to bury Chris Jericho backstage. On his podcast, Jim Ross revealed Triple H used to point out small issues with everything Jericho did backstage, trying to get him in trouble. He had more of a say over what went on in WWE, as he started to be a part of production meetings at the time and used his influence to keep Jericho and others down. It was regrettable, especially when you're talking about 2 guys like Booker T and Chris Jericho, who really, you make yourself look bad by inferring that they don't belong for whatever reason. Ross also called out Triple H for the things he said at the time, saying that Hunter was jealous. The Jericho thing was, I believe, quite simply that Jericho had a lot of charisma naturally, that Hunter may not have had at that point in time, and the fact that Jericho was under 6 feet tall, it's pretty BS. There were also other reasons that Triple H didn't like Chris early on, and that was because during his matches with Chyna, he took Vince McMahon's words to heart and didn't hold back, which ended up giving her a black eye. Triple H was still dating Chyna at the time, and he confronted Jericho over it, threatening and berating him for not being able to be careful enough to avoid a stiff shot. Jim Cornette is known for his colorful opinions and often talking more than just a little bit when he should not. He is known for having an opinion about every single thing that happens in wrestling, and not only that, but he takes them personally, attacking those in no uncertain terms on his podcast to his bevy of rabid fans. He found himself at odds with a comment that Chris Jericho had made, which saw him call out the veteran wrestler. On AEW, Jericho had taken a rather interesting bump from the top of the cell during the Blood and Guts match. The bump, which was supposed to look dangerous, in reality looked really tame, which garnered quite a bit of criticism from wrestlers in WWE and other places. Among them were Shotzi Blackheart. Jericho decided to take the attacks personally and was not happy with the comments. He fired back at those making the comments and said that those making these comments should keep in mind that they would probably be released from the company in 6 months and looking for a job, and then he would remember that they had said such things. There's a couple of chicks in WWE who said some stuff, and they should probably not have said that. They probably weren't trained any better, and in 6 months they'll probably be asking us for a job anyways, and I'll remember that, so we'll leave it at that. The comment was uncalled for from someone like Jericho. Jim Cornette decided to call him out on it and took to social media to do exactly that and warned him about not being sexist. Looks like somebody's grumpy about criticism again. Isn't chicks in WWE a sexist remark? Some people watch for those things, you know? And these were the wildest things said about Chris Jericho. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.